All right, now going back to rule number four, improve your vocabulary.
Oh, I like that. Now this is I I want to say what I don't mean by this first, and that's
Cursing?
no, no. Um, if you're gonna curse, do it well, though. Never curse just to curse, because that makes you ignorant. Curse because I curse for punctuation. I curse for color. I curse because
My secret ingredient.
those words can be fun and they're hotter, they're spicier. It's like I don't like bland food. I like my food to have kick. I like my language to have kick. I like watching movies like Tarantino movies because he uses vulgarity with a lot of color and he makes it almost beautiful, and I admire that. But what I mean for your vocabulary is not don't use words that you don't know how to use and don't there's nothing that reeks of amateur writing more than when you're reading something and you can just tell they just had the thesaurus there and we're like looking up words for everything. Don't do that. That's not at all what I mean. What I mean is really pay attention to language. The more you read, the more you and it's impossible, I think, to write and not observe the world differently. If you're really writing every day, I mean, for me, I look at everything differently now than I did 5 years ago. I watch movies differently. I watch TV differently. I communicate differently in email. I read. I can't reading. This is a parallel I often draw. Is I had a friend who works in special effects in the movies, and he can't go to a movie. Every time he goes to a movie, it's just like he's like he sees through all the magic. And I always felt sorry for him because I love going to the movies. And I can see through some of the magic, sure, but some of it is still really magical for me. Even if I can see the illusion, I still enjoy it. But if I was on set every day, and I was the guy handing everybody their rubber knives, I probably wouldn't be as into it, and that would make me sad. And it's a little bit like that for reading for me. When I'm reading now, I'm thinking about ways that I would write it differently. One of the biggest books of the last many years was The Hunger Games, and the tense of that book, which a lot of people really loved, that like first person present tense, I didn't. And I like the book a lot. I just don't like that particular tense, and it worked for the story she was trying to tell, absolutely. But
It won me over. I've never liked that tense either, but it won me over.
yeah, it did a very good job with it. But I couldn't help when I was reading it the entire time thinking what it would be like in a different tense. And so I kept rewriting passages. I didn't stop and rewrite them, but as I'm reading, I'm rewriting in my head what it would be like if it was in the tense that I would write it in. And it dimmed some of my enjoyment of the book. And it's not Suzanne Collins' fault at all. That's 100% my crap. But I felt bad. Like I wanted to enjoy it a little bit more. But that's the thing. That's me taking it to the wrong extreme. What you want to do is really pay attention to language, because the more words you know, the better you are able to articulate yourself. And the more you're able to really get to the meat of your own ideas and your own arguments, your own philosophy, perspective. So having a rich vocabulary, even if you don't use those words, allows you to be a more powerful thinker. And if you're a more powerful thinker, you're a more articulate speaker and you're a more articulate writer. And you can connect with readers easier because you're able to plug into their emotions on a deeper level. And I think that that's really, really powerful. So I don't mean, and in fact, you can run your copy through like a readability index, and you actually want it to be on the simpler side. That doesn't mean that you're aiming your work to be read by fourth graders, but if a fourth grader could understand it, then it's going to read well. And that's more important than having impressive words,
On a side note on vocabulary, I think it behooves anybody that's writing in specific niches, genres, to be fluent in the language used in those niches and genres
Absolutely.
because nothing will make you seem more like an outsider if you're using the wrong words. If there's a shorthand for something, say in a medical field or whatever you're writing in, if there's a shorthand common knowledge that people would use with each other, I'm talking vocabulary here, like the dialogue specifically.
Yeah.
Uh, One way will come off, believable. The other way will come off as, oh, this guy just read something and he's shoving this in there very
Yeah.
awkwardly.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. And you never want to be an amateur ever. And that's a basic, that goes back to copywriting too. One of a basic copywriting tenet is you always want to use the language of your market. You always want to enter the conversation that's already in their head. And if you're not using their language, then you're not with them.
You're an outsider.
Them. Yeah, you're an outsider. And there's an immediate disconnect when they're reading. So you never ever want that to happen.